are a lot of times in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, where God comes down to his people and interacts with them, specifically telling them what he'd like to do for them and with them, and what he'd like them to do for him and with him. And Samuel's birth and the whole thing with Hannah is an amazing, amazing message. First Samuel 1, just the very fact that I love how Hannah's husband, he's trying so hard. He's like, I know you can't have children, but aren't I just as good as having a lot of children? I know he's trying there, but he's not making it work. And of course, the other woman is having all these children and making fun of Hannah the whole time. It's heartbreaking. It really is. The very fact that, Hannah goes to the temple, goes to God and prays. Meanwhile, you have the high priest, Eli, over there, who's just kind of like watching her, and I guess he doesn't watch a whole lot of people praying or whatever, but he thinks she's drunk, which is kind of odd, that she's praying, but not, no words are coming out of her mouth because she's praying so, vehemently. Anyway, she's praying so much. And then, of course, Hannah does have Samuel, miraculously, obviously not. But he wasn't, like, they didn't do anything, they did stuff. But how it is when you're barren for a long period of time, suddenly you have a baby, it's amazing. And I love her prayer in Samuel and 1 Samuel 2, her prayer, and then her thanksgiving and praise, giving glory to God. And then dedicating Samuel to the work of God at that point going forward. And Samuel does go to minister before the Lord. And then, of course, you have Eli, the high priest, and he has these wicked sons who are doing a whole lot of offensive things, stealing from God, committing all sorts of immorality. And God announces judgment to Eli's house because of those boys. And Eli's comment about, if only there was somebody who could intercede between God and you. I'm like, that's supposed to be your job, Eli. You're the high priest of Israel. You're supposed to be interceding. And then chapter 3, God speaks to Samuel in a recognizable voice. Obviously, Samuel's not able to recognize his voice. He'd never heard it before. But he goes to Eli like 3 or 4 times. He's like, okay. And Eli finally gets the point that God is trying to talk to you. And it says Samuel matures, and nothing that came out of Samuel's mouth fell to the ground. I think that's an important passage there. It's like Samuel, it wasn't like people would listen to him and they would know it was God speaking. He was a prophet in Israel. He was the last judge of Israel before we have Saul and the kings and all that stuff going forward. But just those first 3 chapters is important, getting the very birth of Samuel, the very lesson for all of us, not only to continue praying, to continue seeking him, whatever his will is. Hannah didn't give up on God, didn't give up on knowing that she was loved by God and that she could go and pray to him and seek him. And then when she did get Samuel, she dedicated him to the Lord for service. She fulfilled that vow, and it's an important thing for us to remember. Anyway, so you can kind of see that God is starting to shine down upon his people, and he's always been doing that. He does that even today. And he's calling us. He's calling us, Christians, Jews, anybody who's seeking the heart of the Lord, to come to him and pray and seek his face. God bless you, and we'll get into chapter 4 in the next video. Just want to get this one out. Thank you for following me.